So we've got 5 or 6 phrasal verbs each. We're going to ask each other questions using the phrasal verbs. Rob doesn't know the questions I'm going to ask him, and I don't know the questions Rob's got for me. So there's going to be some natural stuff going on here. Can you figure out what all my phrasal verbs have in common? That's the kind of extra task for the listener and for you. All right, yeah, let's just get going. You ready to roll?
Yep, always.
All right, well, we're action. So, hello, Rob. How are you doing?
Hi, good, Gabriel. Thanks for inviting me on your podcast.
Oh, thanks for coming, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah,
I have to thank Emma as well, right?
Yeah,
because she gave me a mention, and then you looked me up after that.
Yeah. It was she recommended that I have a chat with you. If like you have to talk to Rob is a recommendation, then I think that was a recommendation. Yeah. So yeah, thanks to Emma, and yeah, thanks to you. It's nice to have you here. I've been checking out your channels and your podcast episodes. We'll talk about that later. So today we're talking about phrasal verbs. So Rob, I'm speaking to the listeners now. Rob came up with the idea for today's podcast episode. We're going to look at phrasal verbs, and it's great because it's just such an area that both teachers and learners find interesting, but also it's a big challenge for a lot of English learners because, you know, they're ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous.
Sometimes. But sorry, Gabriel, to jump in. I just wanted to actually, I'm going to use another one, point out that we've actually used 2 and now 3 already, because I said I gave up on coming up with, there's another one. See, there's so many. Yeah. They're ubiquitous. They're everywhere. Yeah. And it's kind of crazy. Give up, right? Like, it's not about giving. It's not about going up. But, you know, put these together, completely new meaning. When I have students ask me about how they can handle all this stuff with phrasal verbs, I often just say, treat it like a separate word. Just don't look at it. Don't see give. Don't see up. Those words, your knowledge of those words will not help you here. Just look at give up as one new separate piece of vocabulary. Store it as a separate thing. Because I get the feeling, I haven't done the research on this, but I get the feeling that's what we're doing. When we hear give up, we're not creating a semantic link with the word give. We're not thinking of giving as a giving, you know, as the general action of giving something. We just hear give up and we know what that means as one unit. Yeah, and when there's a phrasal verb which is built on an original verb, which is something more visual as well, it gets even more difficult to comprehend, like to run out of something or to run over. And we have, because with run is such a visual thing, we imagine somebody running. But if you say, I ran out of eggs, nobody in this sentence is running. Unless they're running to the next shop before it closes because you still need eggs. That's the next sentence, you know. That's not the running out. Yeah. Or somebody, there are no eggs because somebody took them and ran out with them. But this is the kind of thing that, you know, a learner might consider. I know that verb run. So who's running in this sentence? Not the egg, surely.
And if you're reading a sentence, if you're reading a story and this verb comes up, you would start thinking about people running. They ran out of eggs, so I ran out of the shop. There you go. That could be a new something either really helpful or really confusing. I'm not sure.
And then when I ran into the next shop, I ran into my neighbor.
Ooh.
Possibly.
Maybe this could help. Maybe this could just make things. Anyway,
we're throwing too many out, aren't we, at the minute?
And we're not going to talk about how to learn phrasal verbs specifically. We're just going to talk freely about, well, not about phrasal verbs, using phrasal verbs. We're going to have as natural a conversation as we can, considering that this is a completely contrived context. But it's cool. We're going to be talking, and Rob doesn't know the questions I'm going to ask him, and I don't know the questions Rob's got for me. So there's going to be some natural stuff going on here. So we've got 5 or 6 phrasal verbs each. We're going to ask each other
questions using the phrasal verbs, and perhaps we're going to discuss the phrasal verbs if we feel like it, if it feels like the right thing to do at the time. And I have created a kind of, I don't want to say a theme, but all of the phrasal verbs that I have selected have something in common. So,
okay.
yeah,
I've not got a theme.
Mine
were like just to find out more about you, because I don't really know you very well, just to phrasal verbs to get to know you.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
That's a more general theme.
So you gravitated towards that sort of side of conversation, the more breaking the ice, that small talk side of things.
I suppose, yeah, a little bit, which maybe is not so great for your podcast, thinking about it now, because your learners probably know all these things about you.
I'm not sure they do.
No?
I can be a cold and distant figure sometimes. So.
Okay, is that the key to podcasting? I've not tried that one yet.
Well, so I'm going for it, and I'm not looking back. Whether it's good or I don't know. We'll find out. And I think the thing is, you know, I'm talking to you in this context is quite different from when I'm talking to other people and talking to the microphone. So I'm sure lots of cool stuff will come up. Well,
yeah. Well, this is why we didn't give each other the questions before, because then the listeners get natural conversation, which is taking each other by surprise. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. So I've got, can you figure out what all my phrasal verbs have in common? That's the kind of extra task for the listener and for you. I think you'll figure it out quickly, because you're an English teacher and you're just going to notice. But if you let me know when you figured it out. Okay.
Okay. You're the guest, so I guess guests go first. Would you like to go for it first?
Okay. Well, this is one that's been added to my list since we started talking. You know, there's no secret that we before the podcast started, we had a little chat just to get things going and make sure we're on the same page. And you mentioned that you're moving soon. So when will you move out, and where will you move to? I always think that this is strange, like, to talk about moving to, moving in, moving out. We just use move.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Yeah, that's something as a teacher I noticed, that, you know, you have to point out, that's another phrasal verb, you have to point out to students, you have to draw their attention to the fact that move is about, well, let me answer first and then we can talk about the meaning. So yeah, we're moving out on the 3rd of November. We have a date. We're moving out on the 3rd of November, and because we're moving to the other side of the world, we're going to Australia. We're going to move in. Oh, you didn't ask that question, but I'm gonna answer it anyway.
Yes, free flow conversation. I want to know.
Moving in on the 4th, because it takes like over 20 hours to go to Australia, which is ridiculous, but it's Australia. And we're moving to Australia.
Okay. And what's with the move? What's brought it on?
This has been in the pipeline for years and years. My partner's Australian, so that was the main sort of reason we chose Australia. We travel a lot. We've always been like living in different countries together. We've lived in Russia and Turkey and Bulgaria now, so it's kind of natural just to move somewhere. But we thought, we'd move to Australia and see how things work out there for a while.
That's good. I'm jealous. Yeah, I've been to Australia. I really, really like it. Friendly people, amazing landscapes, so much to explore.
Yeah.
Melbourne, Sydney.
It is Melbourne. Yes. Melbourne. Yes. I like Melbourne. I don't know. I haven't been to Sydney or most of the other cities. I've been to Perth and Melbourne, but I get the impression, I think Sydney and Melbourne are a little different from the others, because the others are kind of more American in the sort of design. You have a center and then you just have sprawling suburbs. But Melbourne and I think Sydney is like this, have just lots of centers, like London or New York or Istanbul. It's not just the center and then lots of houses. It's lots of different areas. Yeah.
I spent like 6 months in Sydney, and there's like the Docklands area, like in London as well, and then there is like a central business district, and then there are other areas. But
lots of different beaches as well that all have a different vibe.
Yeah.
Melbourne, I spent some time in. I can't remember much of it. When was that? Like 2009 or something. But yeah.
Yeah. Melbourne's got like the river, and the CBD is kind of right in the middle. And then, but then, you know, suburbs are buzzing. You know, there's lots of stuff going on everywhere. Yeah. Cool. Good question. I like it. So move into, move out, move to, we use this verb move. When we're talking about changing the place where we live, we use move. That's it, right?
Well, it's strange because lots of other languages have an actual word for it. Like in French is déménagement, which is like its own verb for going from one house to another house, changing the place where you live.
Yes.
So it seems strange that in English it's so basic: move in, move out, move to, move from.
Yes. I mean, you are moving, but you don't think of that when you use the verb move. Move is usually
I'm
much
moving,
more
I'm
immediate.
moving right now.
It's a sort of immediate thing, isn't there, with move usually? Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good phrasal verb. Move out. Move out of. Move in. Move into. Move to. Move from. Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. Should we go for my first question?
Yes, I'm excited.
This is the sort of question I ask lots of people all the time. What kind of music are you into?
Oh, okay. Well, I discovered something about myself recently, which is a little bit sad. I went to England, and I'm not familiar with the radio stations in England. I didn't have my Spotify all set up because for some reason, I can't get roaming on my phone. Anyway, so I was at my parents' house, and they have a digital radio. And the only station I found that I could listen to for a good few hours was Absolute Radio 90s.
Okay, so that sounds fun. I like 90s radio.
Exactly. Yeah. But then does that mean that my musical tastes have not changed, have not developed, have not been open to anything since, you know, my teenage years? And I'm giving my age away, but yeah. And one of the, do you know Absolute Radio? Do you listen to any of the
I don't know anything about English radio stations at all.
Do you know the English comedian actor Matt Berry? He's got a very distinctive voice.
If I Google him, I'll recognize him, because I watch a bunch of those panel shows that British people love.
He's often on those. He's in the IT crowd. You might know.
Oh, that guy. Him. He's fantastic. Yeah, he's Toast of London.
Yes, that's a good show too. So he has this very distinctive radio voice. So he does all of the like, not the announcements or the little cut-ins and little jingles for Absolute Radio. And one of his jingles hurt me. It's supposed to be funny, but it was like, if you remember these if you remember these tunes, you're old. Congratulations. I thought, thanks, fantastic. Matt Berry. So yeah, my taste, I suppose, is 90s music. I'm a Britpop kid. Britpop. Let's mention some bands.
Did you get involved in the Blur Oasis thing?
Big time, yeah.
I'm trying to guess your Team Blur. Yeah, I was Team. No, I was Team Blur too. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
Had this chat with Martin from Rock and Roll English, and
I've talked to Martin. Yeah.
As teens, we wouldn't have got on because he was very.
Oh, he's such an Oasis guy.
Team Oasis, yeah.
Yeah. He's very Oasis-y. Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, well,
it was strange, right? Sorry to interrupt, but that whole thing was so ridiculous. It was, you wouldn't imagine that happening now.
It was just media hype, wasn't it? Well, you do read like people having beefs with each other. This is a new thing now. Like phrase. Justin Bieber has a beef with, I don't know who he's having a beef with, Drake or something. And yeah, you don't know how much of it is genuine and how much of it is just PR stuff to get interest, to get people talking about the artists.
Yeah, I think it's probably the latter more than anything else. It's probably good for sales. So exactly, they do it.
You know, we are still talking about it now, even though it happened in the 90s. Blur versus Oasis, where I think there was one particular weekend where they both released a song. Yeah, and it was like, which one? It was absolutely guaranteed that one of them would be number one, and which one was it going to be?
Yeah.
And I can remember the moment when we were on holiday, and I made my dad put on the radio so we could listen to it. That moment.
It was Country House. And I can't remember the Oasis track.
It was Roll With It.
Roll With It. And I can't remember who won that.
Oh, Blur, naturally.
Okay, so Blur got that one. Okay.
Yeah, Blur got that one. But I think in the long run, Oasis won in that they are more like a iconic band, and their songs are remembered more now than Blur.
If you were making a nostalgic film set in the 90s, you would be using Oasis, not Blur, for your soundtrack.
Yes. Yeah.
It triggers that feeling more, I think, in that time. Yeah.
Anthemic. You could describe those songs. Very anthemic.
Very anthemic.
Anthems.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I didn't like them at the time. I thought they were lacking nuance and sophistication. So I preferred the more intricate sounds of Blur, because they were a bit more experimental and interesting for me.
Yeah, there was more going on. You could play an Oasis song if you knew 3 chords, but if you wanted to play a Blur song, you'd have
it's tricky. It's not easy. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. So so 90s Britpop, that sort of thing is your main.
Well, like now, I don't really listen to that, but that was enjoyable to put the radio on and sort of reminisce. I do still listen to a lot of Weezer. You know, Weezer.
I loved the first 2 albums, and then they lost me.
You're one of those people.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Like their albums have been hit and miss, but the last one, Van Weezer, no, that's not actually the last one. It was like 2 albums ago, but that was very, very good. But I just like most of what they do.
Okay, I'm going to check it out. Van Weezer?
Van Weezer, yeah,
like Van Halen.
they made a exactly. They took like an 80s hair rock theme for that album, and it that sounds like I like 80s hair rock, but it's not true.
Weezer do. I know they're big fans of 80s hair rock, but their stuff sounds different. It's because I think I'm the same. I don't really like 80s hair rock, but I like Weezer, who do like 80s hair rock. So whatever.
I just really like his voice, and I don't know, guys, if you Google a picture of Weezer, and you'll see why he looks like me, basically.
He does.
The white guy with glasses.
you have the vibe. You have the Weezer vibe.
I have it on my. I don't know if you can see my guitar there. It's got I have the. Oh, you can't really see it. It's got.
Is it the lightning strap?
The lightning strap. Yeah, that's Weezer based.
Yeah. I had a friend when I was living in Istanbul, a musician friend who just always played with the lightning strap. Yeah, big Weezer fan. Okay, cool. But I'm getting a general idea. Quick question before we move on, though. I mean, yes, you're definitely into the stuff from your formative years, the 90s, the indie, the Weezer and stuff like that. And me too. You know, I think we're about the same age. But do you feel that you're sort of keeping up? That's a good phrasal verb too. That you're keeping up as well. That you're still. Yeah, sure. That's probably going to have the biggest effect on you, that 90s music. But are you still discovering new things, enjoying new stuff?
Okay, am I like keeping up with the new trends?
Not necessarily trends, but new things. You know, is there stuff being produced now, music that's coming out that still touches you and still causes a reaction for you?
Well, yeah, because both. I'm always looking for new music, but I find it difficult to find music that I really like lately. Although I recently discovered an artist called Oliver Tree.
Ooh, I don't know this. Okay.
Yeah, check out Oliver Tree.
Okay.
I really like his style of music. It's kind of tongue-in-cheek comedy a little bit, but it also has serious tones as well. I'm just trying to think of something. I realized that everything I'm saying is like white guys with glasses. If there's anything more,
we are 2 white guys with glasses.
I like.
So.
Yeah, I know. I'm conscious of this. Who else do I like recently? I'm not really into hip hop that much, because I just find it a bit too aggressive, I suppose. And the only hip hop I like is comedy hip hop, like Lonely Island or what's that guy's name? Lil Dicky. But that's because I like comedy more. I'm digging myself into a very non-inclusive whole.
Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, you like what you like, and presumably most of the things that make us like what we like is because it's kind of
You identify
relates
with
to
it.
our lives. I mean, you do get the opposite side of the spectrum when you have people who are like relating and identifying with people who are talking about lives that they couldn't possibly understand, and that's definitely worse, because that's kind of faking it a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an interesting subject.
Yeah, it's a bigger subject than I think I would like to tackle right now.
I feel quite unqualified, but it's good that we brought it up as well, because it is food for thought. It's an interesting like topic.
Yeah, and whenever I'm on like a round table or something, I'm always conscious. There's this thing called a manel, this idea of a manel. Like when you have a panel of experts and it's all men, then you have a manel.
Like
so if ever somebody invites me to something, I always try to make sure it's diverse, both you know, ethnically and gender wise as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just going to make it more interesting at the very least, right? Because if everyone's just putting forward the same music or bands or ideas or whatever it is you're talking about, pretty boring. You're not going to learn anything.
Yeah, just from one side.
Yeah. But cool, that was good. That generated some interesting thoughts and themes.
Yeah, I don't really feel like I answered your question. Like I mentioned one thing that I like of a new thing, but there are some things that I just can't keep up with, that I don't like. And especially with music, I'm going to mention two things. Okay. One is I call it vocoder, but it's not vocoder.
Oh, autotune.
Autotune. I can always tell, and all music now sounds the same. It all has this slightly tinny, almost too echoey autotune. I don't like that, and I also don't like. Go on.
I mean, I think it's being wielded. I'm going to talk about autotune in a second. I have
standard now, and even in live concerts, they're using autotune, which I think is just cheating. And also, have you noticed this thing in music lately where you know what the hi-hat is, on the drums?
Yeah.
So now there's this real trend for really like ramping that up like a lot in the backbeat, and it's overused and it's too much, and it's obviously machines. No human could do a hi-hat like that. And I find it really distracting and too much. All of your younger listeners, we've lost them now. They're thinking, who is this old fart who doesn't like that crazy hi-hat sound and auto-tune?
Hi-hats and auto-tune. Yeah. Okay. I mean, these are good grievances. I have opinion about auto-tune. I get it. I got a friend, and we regularly argue about this. He hates auto-tune. I like it, but I think it's misunderstood, because I think auto-tune now is not being used to correct someone's singing. I think auto-tune is being used as an effect, as a filter, as a thing in its own right. I think it's it's being experimented with.
That's true.
Like putting distortion on a guitar, or just having reverb on your vocals or whatever. It's just a new tool and if you listen, there are some artists, I've been getting really into this genre called hyperpop. Have you heard about hyperpop?
I'm obviously not keeping up.
Yeah, this is weirdly obscure stuff, but there's an artist called Dorian Electra. I don't know if you're familiar with Dorian Electra. Their hit Flamboyant. Check out Flamboyant, the song.
I'm just getting it up on my computer to listen to later.
They're amazing. They're really good, and they use autotune they pile it onto the track. It's an auto-tune attack. It's an auto-tune assault. So clearly it's a deliberate thing. It's not like meant to be unnoticed in the background as a correction tool. It is part of the music. It's very much integral to the music. So I think in cases like that, I think auto-tune is absolutely fine, because people are using it to experiment and to explore new sounds. And I think that's good. That's what music's supposed to do, right?
Yeah, I just wanted, you maybe noticed I was looking at my phone. I hope you didn't think I was being rude. I was trying to look for a song that I found by accident, because I share an Amazon account with my sister-in-law and her kids put playlists on there, and I found this one song, and it's very heavily auto-tuned, but like you said, there is an effect, there is a feeling that it that it evokes that you wouldn't have if he was singing just singing the correct words. Maybe you know this guy's name is Juice WRLD.
I don't know Juice WRLD.
No?
It's going onto my list of things.
But the song is good, and it's a rare auto-tune song in that it has some catchy guitar. It's like Weezer meets modern music.
Cool. Okay. I'm going to check that. That sounds like the sort of thing I was getting at as well. Using it as a fun thing. Yeah, good. That was a fruitful question. Music, but I mean, music. It's such a great topic.
Is that the theme that they're all linked to?
I like that you're coming in for an early guess there for the theme. You're not correct, but it was a valiant effort.
Okay.
Yeah. Still to be determined. Let's move on to your next question.
I'm feeling like it's my turn. I'm looking at my list here. Which one is going to be the one that I'm going to ask you? They all seem a bit too light now.
Well, as you can see, we've turned something light into something heavy already. So I don't think that's the problem.
Okay. All right. So I just like this phrasal verb, so I wanted to include it. What's something you need to brush up on? Ah,
nice. That's a good one. What's something I need to brush up on? Yeah, I can tell you that because I'm going through phrasal verb. I'm going through the situation now. You know, I'm moving to another country, and I got to look for jobs, and I'm actually applying for some work because I want to kind of get back into the job market while I'm in Australia. And I've been living in a bubble for like 6 years. I mean, not just during COVID and stuff, but because I've been online and running my own business and working just totally 100% online, I haven't had to do a job interview. I haven't had to like send a CV for about 6 years. And I haven't even had to like sort of talk to people within a sort of institutional setting, like a language school. And I'm getting back into that. And I've forgotten how weird it is. Like the professional world is a very strange place where that line between friendly and unprofessional is very hard to find when you're talking level of to
small
people.
Talk where like, where have you gone over the line? Yeah,
and I find I very easily go over the line because I'm quite a friendly guy, so I keep asking people like probably potentially inappropriate questions, or taking the chat, like making it go on for a bit too long, or things like that. I just need to brush up on this sort of professional what would you call it, like
acumen? Is it business acumen, or is that word too formal a word in itself?
But yeah, I wouldn't know because I need to brush up on this. Yeah, but yeah, business acumen, let's use that word because it's a good word. I like it. Yes, I need to brush up on my business acumen. My finding the line between small talk and being too friendly in a business
getting too
environment.
personal.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Yeah, I mean, it's a simple enough thing. I mean, do you find you have that issue sometimes as well? Do you ever experience that sort of?
Yeah, I feel your pain with the being isolated, being a language teacher. You know, we speak to our students, but because there's a teacher-student relationship, it's not quite the same as being in an office and, you know, 24/7 with someone at the computer station next to you and talking about, you know, your gripes, your daily life gripes that you wouldn't normally mention to your students because it's a bit too depressing. Or you know, things like that. Office banter. I think that, you know, that's more like once you're established colleagues. It's not what you're talking about, getting into a company and developing a professional relationship. More just, you know, or if you work at a school, being in the staff room, which I don't have. I mean, what we're doing right now is my only other interaction with colleagues in a way. You know,
so
this is partly why I also do a podcast, because it's just nice to chat with other people in the same position.
Stop ourselves from going completely mad.
Yeah.
It feels like it's sometimes. Did you find that when COVID hit, when COVID came, that you were strangely prepared because you didn't have to adapt as much as most other people because you were already in this online sort of existence? Or were you already teaching off, like in the real world at the time, and you did have to adapt?
That's it. Yeah. I mean, although I had an online presence with YouTube videos and the podcast, started a little bit before the pandemic, and then I put it down for a while and I picked it up again in the pandemic. But no, I wasn't prepared because all of my lessons, you know, here's a nice idiom, my bread and butter lessons were in person. So I would drive to businesses and teach people, coach people in their offices on, you know, doing presentations and just building their fluency. So now it switched to online, and it's still online. I still haven't been back to the classroom.
Okay.
And I wasn't prepared, but I didn't know how ready I was, because I was very ready to just roll out of bed and teach people on the computer. It's fine by me, because I had a 45-minute drive. And also you can schedule a lesson, and then you can schedule a lesson for 2 minutes after as well, instead of having to worry about getting from one place to the other.
Commuting, which is unpaid usually. I don't know, like different places have different deals, but it's not great having to commute a lot. Yeah.
Even within the same, like I would work at a huge pharmaceutical, I still work there, but online, and just going from one office to the other part of the site sometimes would be 15 minutes of wasted time and rushing as well sometimes, you know, really trying to hurry. There are, I mean, this is also a bigger topic. There are lots of advantages to teaching in person. But from a logistical level, from my side, which is quite selfish really, I suppose, just teaching online is convenient. So is it okay to say I was happy about the pandemic? I was happy about that move.
Yes.
That part of the pandemic.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Should we move on? Should I ask you a question?
That's good. That's great.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Is it?
Wait. I asked you about
brush up on.
Okay, and then your question came out of that. That wasn't a phrasal verb question, so it's your turn for a phrasal verb question.
Right. Okay. Yes. Yeah. What do you get up to in the evenings? Are you? Some people like watching TV. Some people like books, reading books. Some people like gaming. You know, everyone's got like a thing that they do to unwind. So yeah, what are you usually up to at like 7 or 8 or 9? You know, when you're chilling out.
At the minute, I'm video editing. I've got like a new client, not a client, because I work very close with them, but I've started the company that I work for, called 4 Words, have recently started a more like a social media, that they want to boost their social media. So they have commissioned me to make lots and lots of videos for them.
Oh, cool.
So now I spend, what I get up to is filming and editing those videos in the evening, but it's good because it's what I like doing. And if it wasn't for that, I would be filming and editing my own YouTube videos. You can see all the music stuff behind me. I get sometimes play music in the basement in the evenings, just after the kids have gone to bed and just before it's too late for the neighbors.
Magic window. Okay.
Yeah, there's like an hour and a half that if I'm prepared, that I can, you know, bash out a few tunes.
Nice. Blur mostly.
I've not played any Blur for a long time. No, I mostly like to just play, like make up my own little songs. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So you sort of do music but also video editing. You're creative. You're up to something creative.
Well, it's finding a balance, isn't it? Because I would do that every night, but of course I also have to spend time with my partner. So that's not the right way of saying it. I also enjoy spending time with my partner. So some evenings we'll just sit down and watch a show together.
Yeah. Okay.
And sometimes I'll come down here and finish my editing, or get the guitar out or something.
Yeah. Nice one. Yeah.
Sometimes I just get up to doing that, and sometimes just watching. It's hard to find a show that we both like.
Oh, you have that problem. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the reality TV versus dark, edgy drama, and there's not really an in between.
Fortunately, both my partner and I are into dark, edgy drama, so it's all good. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going to guess you're the dark, edgy drama guy.
I'm not the
reality you're the reality
TV person.
TV?
No.
Oh,
I'm not the reality
okay,
TV.
yeah.
I mean, anything comedy, yeah. Edgy drama, yeah. Reality TV is the problem is I spend too much time thinking how much of it is set up and how much of it is the producers do, and then I think like, well, he's just phoned her, but how come there's a camera there waiting for the phone call? You know,
right? Yeah.
It's
all lies.
It's lies. It's contrived, and
what I find most annoying about the reality TV sort of thing is that it's such a cynical way of creating popular content on as little a budget as possible. You can see that the whole industry, the whole reality TV industry, is completely motivated by saving money, and you don't want that coming out of your entertainment. Do you know what I mean?
A little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah. My problem with it is that, you know, I like to watch people that I like on TV. You know, the heroes, and you know, the baddies. Okay, you don't like the baddies, but they're the baddies.
They're the funnest to watch, though. They're the most fun to watch.
Yeah, I suppose so. But with reality TV, you watch it, people watch it, and they enjoy not liking someone. But that someone that they don't like is a real person. And there's all kind of moral issues for me there as well. Whereas, you know, if I'm like, oh, there's Darth Vader, he's such a bad guy, watch out.
Don't hate
it's
on
fine
him
because
he's got feelings too.
He's got issues, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, when you're watching a baddie in a TV show, you're kind of enjoying the performance, right? Because actors love doing bad guys, right? It's more fun for actors generally, from what I've heard, actors talking about this sort of thing. And you're enjoying them creating this character like themselves, and it's about like the craft of the acting. Yeah, like, you know, No Country for Old Men. I don't know if you've seen that film.
A long time ago.
Okay,
the Coen Brothers film,
it's the Coen Brothers film. Yeah, the bad guy in that, he's fantastic. One of the best bad guys ever. When you're watching him, you're enjoying the performance. He's the guy with the. Is
it Javier Bardem?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, that's
I can't remember much about the film, but I remember seeing it.
Yeah,
ironically.
But just an example. I think that's a really good point. Yeah, when you're hating on real people, that's weird. What?
And they can't walk away from it as well. These not actors, but reality stars. You know, because an actor can, you know, take off the costume and go home or go onto a talk show and say how great it is to play it. But somebody from a reality TV show, someone sees them in the street, they say, "Oh, she's a real bitch. That woman over there. I've seen her on TV."
Yeah,
and because it's reality. For the podcast listeners, I'm doing the air quotes because is it reality? Is
it reality as well? Yeah, very well said. Yeah. Okay, but you definitely answered the question there.
Yeah, but this is good, answering the question, and it brings us to different avenues. It's good, yes.
Okay, quick recap very quickly. Your phrasal verbs so far have been move in or move out and brush up on, both really good. Mine have been be into or be up to. Just recapping that.
Yeah, okay, good. What wasn't there in the okay, so what the theme is that they're all B ones?
Yeah, okay, you got it. Yeah.
Okay, so but I think you actually asked me what do I get up to?
I actually did say get up to, but I'm going to maintain that it's still a B one, because be and get, you know, they're like cousins, right? They work as a team.
Yeah, because if you ask me what are you doing right now, I'd say what I am up to. Exactly. Because it's happening right now. But because you're asking about the future or just in general, what do you get up to? Yeah, there's a close relationship.
Yeah, and I could have asked what are you up to in the evenings? It's a bit strange though. Get was more natural there, but yeah, like be and get, be married, get married, be angry, get angry.
It's about states, isn't it? A state, be in a state and get into a state.
Yeah, get is the transformation, the starting of that state, and then be is just the remainder of time of the state.
get used to something, be used. Oh, that's probably maybe.
Yeah, that's a Pandora's box, but that is a good example. And also just in the passive, you know, you can be burgled or you can get burgled, for example. Yes. Or not. Yeah, preferably. Anyway, cool. You found the thing. I've got a big thing about phrasal verbs with be. I love them because they feel almost like not phrasal verbs, right? Because if you say, you know, what kind of music are you into? When you're listening as an English learner, it's hard to hear that as a phrasal verb, and it's hard to figure out what's happening with the question if you don't know. What are you into? What, like a box? Like it's a strange question. So yeah, it's good to be aware that there are phrasal verbs with be. So there's actually almost no verb. It's just like, what are you? Preposition. I am.
Yeah,
preposition.
It's like that. Yeah,
it's kind of odd. It looks odd, and I like them. I think they're cool.
I'm just looking on my list to see if any of mine are be, but mine are not with be.
Well, let's check it out.
We've got some good variation.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I like the ones where the original verb is completely different to the meaning, like brush up on.
Yes.
There's nobody brushing a brush, like a hairbrush or a sweeping brush. So this next one is, I've got one and then I've got a backup if it doesn't work.
Okay.
Have you ever been in a situation where you've run out of petrol, run out of gas, run out of fuel?
Yes, you're going to need your backup because I don't drive.
Okay.
Have I been in the car when that's happened though?
Yeah, you could have been a passenger.
Yeah, I think I got a dim memory of childhood. Something happened, but no, it was a breakdown. It wasn't running out of petrol. No, okay. You're going to need your backup.
Okay, so it's related. Have you ever run out of battery? I'm talking about your phone when you really needed it, but your phone battery's run out.
Well, I mean, it feels like the answer is yes, but I can't think of any. Yeah,
this is the danger of not preparing answers.
It's okay.
Some of them won't hit anything.
That's fine. And we're going for natural conversation. Sometimes in a completely normal conversation, question, answer no, move on to the next topic. That's just normal. It's normal. It's fine. We should feel comfortable about that.
Have you got any anecdotes about this? No. Any anecdotes about this? I can't think of one.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, conversations are sometimes a bit like that. You know, you're just trying to find something to talk about, and that's cool. That's all right. In this case, I don't think we found anything.
No, but this is strange because we're trying to structure a podcast around these questions. Okay, shall I ask you another one, or do you want to ask me one?
Go on, ask me one. We got a defunct one, so we should, let's try the next one.
Okay, so I'm trying to make them all where the original verb is something maybe not even a verb. So what is a clam? Maybe some of the listeners don't know what a clam is.
A clam. Oh, wow. I mean, I can guess what the phrasal verb is.
Yeah,
now, but,
of course, now you can, yeah.
Yeah, because it's the only one the time you use it as a verb. Clam is well, most people don't know. Should we tell them?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah,
so
it's our jobs, kind of, isn't it? Go for it.
It's a crustacean, but they might also not know that word. So it's a very basic form of animal. It lives in the sea, and it lives in a shell. And I don't know what is it? They stick to rocks and they catch plankton that comes by or something. Do you know any more about clams than
clams? Oh, pearls, right? Well, no, pearls come from oysters, right?
But yeah, this kind of, there are lots. There's clams, oysters,
mussels,
cockles.
Yes, yeah. And they're common seafood as well.
Yeah,
like people eat them a lot.
People,
sometimes,
not me.
Me too.
Not my. I don't really like them.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway,
I mean, I could see why like some people would consider them quite like,
yeah, it's
they
the
look
consistency,
weird, right?
isn't it? More the texture. Anyway, so in what situations do you clam up? What makes you clam up? Can you think of a time when you clammed up?
Yeah, I think it's fairly easy, but also I'm going to produce a pretty predictable answer, and that's sometimes, you know, when you're I mean, this happened last weekend. I was at a barbecue, just a few friends, even a friend's barbecue, and I knew everyone and I was pretty comfortable with everyone, but still it happens, you know. I was going over to a table and there were a couple of friends sitting down and they just started asking me some questions, and I was standing up, they were sitting down, And you know that feeling when you suddenly feel like the interaction that you've established is now them interviewing you. And then you answer questions. Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah.
Boom. And it feels really weird. You feel very self-conscious. You feel like everyone's looking at you. And sometimes people notice this strange dynamic that you've slipped into, that you're just sort of question, answer. And it's very unusual, but it just happens. And then I clam up because I don't want to offer more information because I'm stuck in that dynamic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what was it, a situation where they all knew each other and you were like new to the group?
No, I knew them fairly well. Like they were friends, like one of my best friends and like his wife and her sister. I mean, I know these guys well. I've spent a lot of time with them and I've hung out. But just sometimes when all the things align.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's your standing and their sitting thing also. You feel more self-conscious because you're standing, most people are sitting and you're kind of like a bit more exposed.
This brings us back, well, because we had this conversation before we started the podcast, because you're standing and I thought, I should stand as well. There is a social thing about that, the standing, sitting. Yeah, even though we're not actually together, so the physics doesn't play a part, there is something about.
Yes, well, our faces are kind of face to face now, but if we were in the same room, I'd be looking down on you probably. So that would feel awkward for both of us, I think.
Yeah, and that's why you have the phrase to. Is it a phrasal verb to look down on someone?
Down on someone, yeah.
Physically, like that's not a phrasal verb how you said it. You would be looking down on me just physically, but to look down on someone also means to view someone with disrespect, to consider someone lower than you socially. You look down on them.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a sort of metaphor, isn't it? It's a metaphorical phrasal verb. But clamming up, yeah, I clam up in those situations. And we should probably explain what clam up means because it's not clear. But
well, I was going to say from context, maybe they can get it. Let me give you an example, and then maybe from that meaning as well. Do you know the podcaster Luke from England? I know you've been on his podcast, right?
I've been on his podcast. Yeah, we've had a chat. Okay, he's a nice guy. So, yeah.
I've been on his podcast and we actually know each other. We used to teach together at the British Council in France.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, so I've been on his podcast and it was fine. And then I invited him as a guest on my podcast. And even though I know this guy and, you know, we've spoken so many times, I've been to an open mic stand-up comedy night that he was at.
Yeah.
And, but for some reason, when he was on my podcast and I was the host and he was the guest, I clammed up. And the podcast was so bad, I've never put it out because it's just so embarrassing. I clammed up so much. I suppose because, you know, I've got this new podcast. I want it to go well. And I got Luke on. And I know this is a big deal because a lot more people might listen to it because he's a big name. He has a big following. Yeah, all of it just got to me and I got too nervous and I clammed up.
Yeah.
And it was very, very awkward. So
that's a really good example.
Remains in the vault.
I've got another example now for myself.
Okay, good.
I was
maybe
remembering
people are working out the meaning.
This has got a podcast entrance as well. The Adam Buxton podcast. I'm sure you know it, right? Yeah, very big podcast. He was interviewing Benjamin Zephaniah recently. Benjamin Zephaniah is a poet from Birmingham. And quite
big
a
dreadlocks.
Sort of big dreadlocks, rebellious character. He identifies as an anarchist mostly. And
I just point out his physical features. That's very shallow. Okay,
that's okay. I mean, it's fine. Yeah,
I had a picture of him in my head. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, he makes a striking figure. And I knew him very slightly back in the day when I was in my 20s. I met him through my dad, who worked with him briefly, and I got to meet him just before one of my gigs, which he came to. Benjamin Zephaniah came to 2 of my gigs. So I'm very proud of that. But yeah, we met at a pub. We're in the pub in London somewhere, sitting down, and Benjamin's just there with my dad and me and a couple of my friends or the bandmates. I couldn't say anything. It's Benjamin Zephaniah. I clammed up completely. I couldn't talk to him.
Okay, yeah.
Lost the opportunity to talk to him about poetry or about politics or whatever, because, you know, I felt I had quite a lot in common with him in terms of those sorts of things. And like, yeah, no, totally clammed up. Yeah.
Wow. Gig.
Damn.
No, oh no, band, right? Are you in a band?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because at first I was thinking of a poetry gig that who can watch a poet. Then I would imagine that you were on. I thought you were going to say that you were on stage and you clammed up. You couldn't remember any of the words of the poems because there's this huge iconic poet out there in the audience.
If I was doing a poetry thing that night instead of a band thing, that could have happened. Yeah, easily. Yeah, great examples as well. Like your one as well.
Yeah, I think people got the meaning when you.
Everyone can get the meaning now, right?
Yeah, but I like it also because there is also a visual idea, because a clam, you know, they open and close.
Yes, yeah.
But like the clam, when it closes, you can't really, you know, it's like an animal with no face, or you can't really know anything about it. It's all on the inside.
Yeah, yeah. It is that's a good metaphorical, like idiomatic phrasal verb there. It's the clam, perfect representation of how it feels. Yeah.
And everybody can identify. I think everybody can think of instances where they've clammed up.
Yeah, yeah. Even the most confident of us. Yeah. Okay, are you ready for my next one? And then we'll have the Rob break.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I've got a good phrasal verb here. It's very difficult to create a question that doesn't feel completely contrived. But
yeah,
I'm gonna go for it. And if it sounds contrived, so be it. We've set ourselves up in this situation. It's a slightly contrived situation. We're going to sound contrived. That's what happens. Okay, so we're going back to 90s music now. I'm all about Radiohead. I'm completely obsessed with that band. It's easily my favorite band of all time. 60% of my musical influence when I'm writing music or whatever, performing music, comes from that band. Yeah, I'm all about Radiohead. So do you get obsessed with any bands like that? Are you all about something? That feels really contrived. Doesn't feel like the most natural question in the world. Is there something that you're all about?
Okay, well, no surprises that the Radiohead joke there.
Yeah, I got it.
No surprises.
Nice
you got it. Okay. No surprises that, well, we already talked about it, I suppose, a bit. In the 90s, I was all about Blur, like, and I was so all about them that I was in the Blur fan club. I used to spend a lot of money on t-shirts so that people could know that my love of Blur. All right, let's move away from music.
Well, it could be music if you like. Whatever. Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all about trying to be creative with my videos. Like many people on Instagram, the English teachers, it's just them in front of the same background saying something new, but all the videos are the same. And I'm all about trying to find new ways to creatively bring language, or, you know, guide people through learning visually or through song or whatever. So I'm all about trying to find new ways. And when I sit down to have some video ideas, or like I have this document just called content, which is just full of ideas, and it's all not just based on what the language is, but how I'm going to present it.
That's the most difficult part of videos and podcasts, and, you know, lessons even, is how do you present it? Okay, so you're all about like just thinking about these sorts of things and finding like new and interesting ways of presenting, delivering like ideas.
I think it's because I'm also all about being creative. And when I've found a new way of doing something, it excites me. Like a while ago, I started doing remixes of other teachers' lessons.
I didn't see that. That sounds cool. Maybe. Brilliant. Is that Insta or YouTube?
There's one on YouTube, I think. If you can cut this out, but maybe I'll try and find. I won't play the whole thing.
Send me a link and we can add it in the description as well.
Oh, this is awkward because I'm not finding it straight away.
Don't worry. Take your time. Awkward is good. Sometimes I wish I came from a culture where silence was natural and comfortable.
Yeah. Did you find that? Because you said you lived in Russia, right? And I have a friend who with a Russian girlfriend. Yeah, they're not married. Yeah. And because I asked her about the TV show The Americans.
Yeah.
And I say, you know, is it realistic? What do you find different about, you know, the culture? What do they get wrong? And she said, oh, there's not enough silence in it. There'd be much more silence in a normal conversation. Here we go. I found it.
Yes. Well, I think especially compared to Americans who I think have to fill in the space. We're not far behind as British people. I think we feel awkward when there's a large silence, but I think Americans are even more so like that. And so because I know the show you're talking about, there's Russian spies in America, right? So it's an American context with Russian people. So you've got the contrast. So yeah, that's an interesting observation. I found that silence wasn't so uncomfortable. I mean, I found in Russia that people just don't get socially awkward much at all. Like, it's really cool. It's something I'm very envious of. Like, people never feel that weird.
Silence is.
Yeah. If the silence is there, silence is there. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
Okay. We filled that silence well, so much that this has been ready for a few minutes now.
Nice.
So do you know Ask Teacher Will on Instagram?
Yeah, I know Will. Yeah. I was I did one of Fluent CMC's quizzes with Will on one of the teams. Yeah.
Okay. So
oh, there it is. 5 pronunciation tips to remix.
Breathe and relax. That's right. Breathe and relax. So that when I drop a video, are you ready? Sing a song in English. So, if you're new, I'd like to welcome you. My name is Are You Ready? Ask Teacher Will. In this video, I want to talk about something that I believe is extremely important in learning English. And it's not accent. Not, oh, I want to sound like a native English speaker. I want to sound like a Brit. I want to sound like an American. I want to sound native. I don't care about that, all right? I don't care about that. This video is talking about pronunciation. And it's not how you pronounce and say words. Pronunciation. And it's not how you pronounce and say words.
Great.
We don't need the whole 6 minutes.
That's fantastic.
You get the
so
idea.
That's 6 minutes. And well done. I didn't know you did that. That's so cool.
So that's something that what was the original phrasal verb? I'm all about, and this is one example. I'm all about trying to find creative ways of presenting new things and just being creative with English teaching. And not only using my stuff. I really liked working with other teachers. I was going to do it a lot more, but there wasn't really much interest in it, even though I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah,
sometimes might come back to it at some point.
Yeah, it's good to do stuff anyway, regardless.
Yeah. I mean, that's my mantra. I need to stop sharing the screen somehow, right?
Only if you want. Yeah, well, this is a good time because we just looked at some of your content. You just something you're really good at, the video editing and using music, and still with a sort of direction towards like helping people learn and helping people get better at English. This is, exactly our thing, right? It's what we're here for. But yeah, so this is a good opportunity to have a Rob break. Let's have a Rob break. And yeah, just tell us, who are you, Rob? What do you do? What's your thing? What motivates you? Where can we find you online? All that
stuff. So yeah, I'll get brief Rob history. So I'm from Leicester in the UK.
Oh, cool.
Which is
like Adrian Mole.
Yes, really?
I
say yes, but I don't know.
Adrian Mole's my favorite Leicesterian. Do you say Leicesterian? Leicesterite?
Never really thought about it.
Leicesteronian.
Yeah, none of them are in the.
It doesn't sound good, does it? None of them sound right, do they?
It's not like Mancunian or Scouser. We don't really have one. It's not really such a famous city to need one.
It's right in the middle of England, right? It's like slap bang in the center of the country.
If you were to put a dot, I've got a map and put a dot in the middle of England, you probably hit Leicester.
Yeah. Or Nottingham.
So I'm from Leicester, and before I was an English teacher, I was a photographer. So that was my passion that I followed originally. So I worked in London as a photographer after university, and then moved around a bit. Lived in Holland for a while on an Erasmus year, and then moved to Cambodia, lived there for 3 years. And when I was in Cambodia, I started teaching photography at a university. And I found that I enjoyed teaching more than I enjoyed the photography.
Okay.
Because, you know, having a camera, I mean, I'm so old that I started with film and being in the dark room before digital came along.
That stuff's fun though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun.
The red light, all the liquids.
Yes, but also part of the fun is taking a picture and not being able to see it until like a day later after you've processed the film, and having the confidence in your ability that the pictures are correctly exposed. And when I started working in Cambodia, it was not the first time, but I'd had digital cameras for a while. But I was working as in a photo agency and not actually getting out that much and taking photos. So when I started working for a magazine in Cambodia, doing like fashion shoots and out and about shoots and like food photography and all different kinds of portraiture, I found it felt like work instead of fun after a while. It used to be that picking up a camera was exciting and waiting for the film to come back. And then with digital and just with the added stress of it being work, it wasn't fun anymore. And it was, although I could still be creative with it, it took the fun out of it. And then when I started teaching photography and I could guide people's creativity and give them skills and, you know, talk to a classroom of students and inspire them with showing them different things from other photographers, I found that really a lot more interesting. And then I started teaching English as well at that university because they needed some extra English teachers. And I found that I didn't know what the present perfect tense was and things like that, because, you know, we're not taught
never learn this stuff.
No, we don't learn it. And I think that's one of the things that holds Brits back from learning other languages. One is, you know, that we don't have much exposure to other languages. And the other is that if we don't know our own grammar, how can we then expect to go and learn another grammar if we don't really know what grammar is?
We have no, what is this, procedural knowledge? And I'm going to clam up now, aren't I? I can't remember. Oh, I usually know this. But of course, you know, we're on air.
I can't think of what you're trying to think of. But just things like, I remember being in my French lessons and the French teacher saying, you need to learn your irregular verbs. And I didn't even know what an irregular verb was. And then she said, well, you know how see in the past isn't seed, it's saw. But normally you add ed, like jump and jumped. And I went,
It blows your mind, right?
Yeah, as a 13-year-old, you've never thought about it. You know how to speak the language. And then when it comes to things like tenses, I was way out of my depth. There's a nice idiom for you. So when we moved to France, I knew that doing anything with photography would be without, you know, I didn't have a very good level of French.
Of course,
just refer to my past few sentences, that the English teaching was the route to take, and I already knew that I enjoyed it, so I did my CELTA, beefed up my grammar knowledge. Not that I really like to teach grammar. I'm more of a lexical approach kind of teacher.
Me too. Yeah.
I like if I'm teaching the difference between the past simple and the present perfect, I will call the lesson the differences between did and have done. To not scare people off with those.
And it's not always helpful having all that knowledge.
No, it's alienating, I think.
It can be very
thinking about it like that. And then after France, we moved to Germany. I'm in Frankfurt in Germany right now, and teaching English to business English in the day, making creative videos for my own podcasts, YouTube, and now 4 words as well. Yeah, what else can I tell you about me?
Well, as we established at the beginning of the lesson, see what a habit I'm in.
Nice.
At the beginning of the podcast episode, you are English with Rob everywhere, right?
English with Rob, yeah. If you Google that, you'll find my podcast, YouTube, if you're allowed to have YouTube in your country, Instagram, TikTok.
Good point. I really like I liked going through your YouTube channel because there's so much cool stuff. 2 things that struck me here. There's a quote from your about. No one ever looks at the about. I'm the only guy who ever looks at anyone's about section on YouTube.
I can't remember what's there.
I'm going to quote you.
Okay.
If we can make you laugh and say, wow, we can make you remember English and we can make you learn English. I love that. If we can make you laugh and say, wow, that's it.
There's a relic in there because it says we, because that's from when my channel was called Rad English, which was Rob and Dylan.
Oh, okay.
And so Rob was me and the clone was Dylan. So when I first started the channel, I was like, well, I can't just be talking at the camera. I need to talk to someone. So I would talk to my clone, this guy Dylan, and it just got too much work.
Yeah, it's a lot of editing
in there every time. Yeah, a lot of editing.
Look, I'm hovering and looking at the early videos. Yeah, there are 2 of you. Yeah.
So it was fun. I enjoyed that. And also at that time I was learning the editing. Like I'd never done green screen stuff or like getting 2 people on the screen at the same time.
That's fun. That's yeah.
So yeah, I was exploring.
Yeah.
My later videos are more like to camera, but with some tricks and fun stuff too.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. So this is it. I love that for you, this is like a labor of love. It's a passion. You're not in it for the money. You're not trying to make a quick buck. It's like you're going to do it anyway, whether or not like anyone sees it.
Well, people do still keep saying, you need to make a course. Why are you not
monetize?
Why can't people monetize? Why can people they see you, they like your style, they want you to be their teacher as well, and it's on the cards. Nice idiom. It's work in progress. I will get there, but I don't have the time. I have 3 kids as well, which maybe is one of the things I should.
I hear children are very time consuming.
Yes, that's hence no course.
Hence no course. Yeah. But that's great. I mean, you should just keep doing what you're doing anyway, and I think that's the main thing because it's what you like doing and you're good at it. So I think the combination of those 2 things, not everyone can find that. Not everyone has that in their lives. So it's good to do that.
It's nice to not have to be all salesy as well. Worrying about is this guiding people to my course, funnels and all that kind of stuff. Marketing.
That world gets very icky very quickly.
And I feel like we're teachers, we shouldn't really have to do that. But if there are people who market themselves very well and make good content and are good teacherpreneurs. I'm sure you've seen this word going around.
Oh yeah, I don't like that word.
I don't like that word, but it's going around. Teacher and entrepreneur.
Yeah,
you have to be both, and don't want to be.
And it's lots of marketing is icky, but that doesn't mean that everyone who's doing marketing is not doing the right thing, because there are a lot of good teachers doing that stuff and they're delivering good stuff.
And being genuine about it.
And they love it.
Some people,
That's cool. We all find the things we like and things we want to do. So great. English with Rob everywhere. I like that. It's easy to plug.
Are you not Clark and Miller everywhere?
We are Clark and Miller everywhere. That is also true. Sometimes it's Clark and Miller online English, but it's the same term. But some people are a bit more mixed. I was talking to Emma quite recently, and she's pronunciation with Emma in one place, and then it's a procrastination podcast somewhere else. So some people have it a bit more.
It is a good point.
Okay, I've got a suggestion. Let's go on to the second half, but how about we make this one a quick fire round? So we'll just question, answer, and we won't dwell on the meanings of the phrasal verbs. People can leave comments in the video, or if you're listening to the podcast, you just send an email. What do the phrasal verbs mean? So we're just going to use the phrasal verbs in context and we won't explain them, and everyone has to figure out what they mean.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go for the quick fire round, quick fire phrasal verbs. I should get one of those klaxons. You know, get people excited. Maybe not my style. No, I won't. Okay, so yeah, we're going to do quick fire round. We've got like a 2 or 3 questions each left. We're just going to go question, answer, question, answer. We won't go too deep into the answers. We'll just sort of explore the immediate vicinity of the of the topic. That metaphor almost worked. Okay, so I think, yeah, we've done 3 each, so it's your turn.
Okay, do you like to lie in?
No. Cool, good, done. Next. Okay, no, not really.
Wow, that's really going to struggle there with learning from context.
No, I don't like to lie in. I'm a morning guy. I jump out of bed in the morning. It drives my partner a bit mad sometimes because she's not a morning person. Like, you know, yesterday or the day before, classic example, I wake up, it's like light outside, but it's summer, so that doesn't mean much. So I look at my watch and it's like, yeah, 6:25. Is this too early? And I'm like, yeah, this is too early. So I go back to sleep and I wake up again. It's like, 6:55. That's fine. That's fine.
What a blimey,
So,
no.
yeah, I mean, I normally don't wake up that early, but sometimes, you know, your body wakes you up without letting you know, and without warning you. And when that happens to me, I'm like, oh, brilliant, I got all this extra time. Jump out of bed, morning. So yeah, I'm a real morning person. I kind of dislike lying in. I feel bad if I lie in. What about?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna
like
quickly ask you.
But I rarely get the opportunity to, and I think that is why when I get to, I like it. But also I stay up too late as well, because I'm down here in the basement often editing late into the night. I'm a night owl, so when I can have a lie in, I do like to lie in. We're not being very good with a quick fire, are we?
That's okay. That's a good comprehensive answer. Can't be too short. Also, you have kids, so any lie-in is a bonus, right?
Yeah.
See, I don't have kids, so
well, even before the kids, I still would like a lie-in, though. I can't blame it all on the kids every time.
Okay, more's the pity. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's it. Good. Lion. If you want to guess what the phrasal verb means, leave a comment in the YouTube comments section or send me an email, gabriel@clarkandmiller.com if you're listening on the podcast. Okay, go for it. So that was a good
me.
one.
Do you like to lie in? That was
you, wasn't it? Yeah, lie in. That's a good one. The next ones are a bit strange, but I like them because of that. What does it take for you to just, when you're with a group of friends, you're hanging out, and you just want to go, I'm off. Bye. I'm off. What does it take
for me to say,
what situation
to be off?
To be off.
To be okay.
Yeah. To decide to be off. Yeah,
a few things. So I'll say, okay, I'm off if everybody, because I don't really like to drink that much. So if everybody's too drunk, well, is that too? Yeah, there is too drunk. If everybody's like really drunk and getting too stupid, too crazy, too juvenile, then I'll be like, okay, I'm off.
You're off. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the main one. Yeah,
that's a good barometer. Yeah.
Or just if no one's talking to me, you know, if I've tried to talk to a few people and they're all in their own groups and they're just not being welcoming, then I said, well, okay, I'm off.
Yeah, if everyone's in a bad mood, miserable, not fun, I'm off. I'm off. Yeah, or if people are on their phones, just on their phones, what's the point?
Yes.
Just, right, bye, I'm off. I'm going to talk to some faces. Yeah. Okay, good answer. Excellent quick fire work. Okay, next one.
I'm trying to be quick fire and looking at my list and okay. I don't know if we can do this quick fire, but can you tell me about a time when you chickened out of doing something?
Oh, that's excellent. Okay,
chicken out.
I'll just give you the first thing that came to mind. It's a bit of a random example. I think I'm about like 10 years old. My brother's about 8, or maybe we're 9 and 7, something like that. I was brought up, I lived in the Middle East when I was a kid. I'm an expat kid. My dad was worked for the British Council, but in the sort of director side of thing rather than the teaching side of thing. And like we were in the Emirates, living in the Emirates, and Prince Charles was visiting. There's a formal royal visit to the Emirates, and he was opening the British Council in Al Ain, one of the cities in the UAE. So my dad was like very involved in all this stuff. So he got to meet Prince Charles, walking down the pathway in the garden of the new premises. And the idea was that some cute blonde kid would be giving Prince Charles some flowers for a photo opportunity, basically. And I was asked, you know, because it's like I was around, I was a cute blonde kid. It was like, yeah, you fit the part, kids. You do the thing. You do the flower thing. That's what they said. So, but I was like, oh no, Prince Charles, it's so scary. I got not clammed up, but you know, I was intimidated by having to meet Prince Charles. So I said, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I chickened out. And my brother did it instead. And I totally regretted that, because now there's all these photos of my brother shaking hands and giving flowers to Prince Charles. And I'm just in the background clapping. So yeah, I chickened out of meeting Prince Charles.
Oh, well.
Not a bad example, actually. I thought that was not a great example, but okay.
No, it's a good example.
It's right.
And especially when there's regrets, it adds that extra level of, oh no.
Do you have anything that comes to mind for you on chickening out? Chickening out. Oh, that's hard to say.
Chickening out. Yeah, when chicken becomes a verb, you can make it continuous. Chickening out. Well, and it comes to my mind because I made a post about a story about it on Instagram, because I was going to do some filming pre-pandemic in the supermarket, and had my 360-degree camera with me, and I was going to just use it like a selfie stick and go around the supermarket. And I knew the staff might like say something and say, you can't do that or whatever. But I thought, oh, I'll just go into the supermarket. There's loads of great, useful vocabulary in there. And I walked in with my camera, I had my microphone on my t-shirt, and I chickened out. I was like, I can't do this. Everyone's going to be looking at me. If the staff do confront me, it's going to be awkward and embarrassing.
Good content though.
So, well, yeah, but nonetheless,
I know.
I chickened out.
I think I can't speak about like the UK. Where was this?
It was here in Germany.
In Germany. I don't know about Germany either, but I know that in a lot of countries, filming in supermarkets, they completely forbid it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I wasn't going to say the name of the supermarket, and you know, I don't care. But also, I have actually made a video on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. One of my most popular videos actually is furniture vocabulary.
Oh wow!
Which was filmed in a very famous furniture shop, which, judging by their branding colors, they're pro-Ukraine.
Oh, I can't imagine who that might be. Yeah, certainly not Scandinavian or anything. Surely.
I'm not sure, to be honest. Could well be Scandinavian, but it might be Chinese.
Yeah, yellow and blue. Cool. Yeah, good stuff. I'm going to check out that video as well. But yes, finally, are you up for one final question?
You'd said a phrasal verb in that. Is that the question? Am I up for one final question? Is that the actual question?
It's a B phrasal verb as well. Right. Yeah, up for. That wasn't going to be my question. So no, but that's a bonus. Yet another question.
I'm totally up for it.
Okay, I'm going to go super deep for the last one. Are you ready?
I don't know.
I'm fishing for sincerity here.
Okay, I can get sincere and personal. Right. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm gonna even bring myself to the microphone for added gravitas. Okay, are you ready? It's going to sound really weird. What are you after in life?
Oh, crikey. Crikey, there you go. That's a nice.
Crikey's good. I haven't heard that's retro as well. I haven't heard that for a while. Crikey.
I've been hanging around with my family recently in England, and a lot of them say, "Oh, crikey," and "blimey." So I've picked it all up again.
Nice,
crikey.
But yeah, what are you after in life? Yeah.
What am I after? At the minute, I'm after some stability, and well, bringing up my kids as best I can is what I'm after in life at the minute. When but also, stability, having a stable relationship, stable work, stable income, stability. I'm always chasing it. I'm after stability.
That's great. I mean, that's I think with a question like that, it doesn't do anyone any service to try and think of something original and special, because it's just what you want, right? Yeah, there's no...
It's difficult to think of one thing as well.
Yeah. These are good answers. Yeah, stability and certainty, right?
Yeah.
For the future, for example, perhaps.
Yeah.
Well,
can we ever have certainty for the future? I think this is why stability is the best. Because maybe
they're related though, right? Stability is a sort of, it involves some certainty, I think.
Because there is some certainty in what will happen.
But
then nobody can predict nobody can predict the pandemic or Russia, Ukraine, and having all these knock-on effects on the world.
Climate change and the
climate
economy.
Change. Well, climate change we can predict.
Unfortunately.
But there is some certainty there. But
one thing that's quite certain about that, ironically, is that there is going to be instability as well. So
so sort of planning around that. You can create your own stability in planning around that. We could I
like that answer. It's really good, and I think it's really apt for 2022, because stability is something that we all had a bit of a shock with COVID and the way that really shook everything up. And I think a lot of people, like, collectively, we haven't really got over that yet. I think we haven't had time to reflect on what that did to us collectively.
Not just that. I think since 2016, the world and the news has just been a constant shitstorm. Brexit, Trump, COVID, Ukraine, and
all to the
climate
of the
thing this summer. Exactly. This summer, the climate crisis, I think, is really showing its face and showing what we can expect. And politicians and
no one is doing anything.
No one's listening, but it's the way that the capitalist system works. It doesn't work like that. Business is money and profits for shareholders. No one.
However one feels about capitalism, that whether it's done as a service or not, this is something that's unavoidable. That is kind of an obstacle to sorting this out. I agree. Wow, that got very heavy, huh?
That's like a whole other podcast series in itself, if we want to go there.
Yes, and like the conversation we were having at the beginning of the episode, one I don't feel 100% qualified to talk about. There are people out there who
also,
know more
I want to
do
some research and get some quotes behind me and some figures before we jump in there.
Yeah, because it's also a contentious issue as well for a lot of people. But great way to finish the quick fire round on capitalism. Brilliant. I love it. This is great. Have you got, let's recap very quickly on all the phrasal verbs that we
I hope you've been writing them down.
I have.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So it'd be Rob Gabriel, but it doesn't matter who came up with them. We got move in, move out, or move to. We've got be into. What kind of music are you into, for example? Brush up on, be up to, run out, but that became clam up. So we've got a bit of a bonus. Because I couldn't
actually run out
answer
if
the
you didn't
run
have
out
an
question.
answer, right?
Yeah. So we had a clam up. That's a good one. I prefer that one too. Be all about something. Lie in. I'm off. Usually it's just I'm off, isn't it? That one's used like that. Chicken out and all about. Be all about something. That's it. Okay. That's a good little bank of phrasal verbs there. So
an episode all about phrasal verbs.
Yeah, and all about, nice. And those last four, lie in, I'm off, chicken out, and be all about. We didn't explain the meaning. If you want to tell us the meaning or share what you think the meaning is, comments on YouTube, email gabriel@clarkandmiller.com for podcast listeners. Yeah, we can get the conversation continuing. Brilliant, Rob. Have you got any questions about anything at all from today?
I'm off.
Yeah, I'm off too.